Hey, Kate here with Wild Sacred Journey. So, okay, I'm going to pose a hypothetical situation here for you, right? Which maybe you can relate to. So imagine you're eating and you're eating and you're eating and you're taking these bites and you're taking these bites and you're taking these bites and maybe you're chewing a little bit, but you're not really swallowing. You're not really digesting. You're just biting, right? And eventually your mouth gets full, your cheeks get puffier, right? You know, and you start to maybe have trouble breathing, right? You start to kind of maybe panic a little bit, right? You're like, what do I do with all this? Right? Except it would probably sound more like, so, then maybe say you turn to somebody and you kind of gesturing and they're like, oh, you just need to calm down, right? You just need to breathe deeply and calm down and everything will be fine, right? And maybe breathing deeply helps a bit, but not really if your mouth is so full, right? So it's a little bit of a silly example, but I'm offering that because in many ways, when we go to a retreat or some kind of peak experience, or, we start wanting to awaken to more of our sensitivity, more of our intuition, and we kind of are don't know where to turn, and so we're trying a lot of different modalities, and maybe I'll learn tarot over here, and I'll learn energy healing over here, and I'll do this over here, and and we're kind of sample plattering a lot of different things. That's actually kind of the same thing as taking bites, and if we don't have enough time in between them, if we're not integrating, if we're not grounding the charge, then we're not actually digesting, we're not metabolizing, we're not turning what we're encountering, we're not allowing ourselves to be changed in some way by what we're encountering, what we're encountering. We're not really taking it in and entering into a relationship with it. And because of that, it never becomes fuel, it never becomes something that we can really use, and create something with, give back to the world in some way with. And the same thing also kind of happens in the world right now, right? There's so much going on in the world right now. And so it can feel like we're sort of maybe being force-fed, but that we're sort of being forced to take in more than we know what to do with in that moment. And then we're more likely to shut down, to kind of disassociate, to numb out, or kind of try to shut it down in some kind of way. So I said grounding the charge earlier. So that's kind of what I will actually be doing a live workshop in conjunction with Oracle Fest. So Oracle and Fest we're kind of combining forces to bring this thing through. The live workshop will be on March 21st, 2026, so coming up. And the recording will be available for purchase afterwards if you can't make it live or are seeing this video somehow later. But the idea for this workshop came up because I was speaking with Kate Graham, friend and founder of Oracle Fest, and we were talking about we didn't use this exact metaphor that I was just giving, but we were talking about how, Oracle Fest is all about helping people kind of connect and awaken the inner oracle within, right? Tapping into more of our intuitive senses, and everybody has access to a certain amount of that. We have our physical senses and we have our subtle senses, and both of those live within the body, and they help us access sort of different layers of reality, and so we all have a certain amount of access to these different layers of reality. And that's under attack right now in this world. Our ability, the squirrels are woo! Our ability to be creatures, not machines, to engage with the world on these different levels through our bodies, through our hearts, through our spirits, That is, in a world that's increasingly wanting humans to live like machines, that's something that's actually under attack, and our skills and tools that we're at risk of losing. So living as creature, not machine is kind of where my work circulates around. And so that's why we kind of joined forces on this, because as people are awakening to the oracle within, as people are trying to tune back into their intuitive senses, as people are trying to kind of navigate this world and dream and vision sort of something different from the trajectory that we're on, and trying to like somehow play a part in bringing that through, right? In being the change, you know, we need to then be able to access these aspects of our creature selves. And that's, you know, like I said, kind of where my work comes in. So yeah, so we're combining forces for this, because there's a lot of overlap here. And particularly if you're someone who's been to the big Oracle Fest online, which if you haven't yet, highly recommend it when it comes back around next year in February, early February, late January, early February. But, you know, that's a really big, expansive experience, because you're experiencing so many different conversations from so many different luminaries and transmissions and attunements and, you know, sound baths and live readings, and all of that's really expanding your sense of what's possible. It's expanding your sense of self even. And so that's kind of like taking this huge, I don't know, breath in, or this huge bite of food, you know, and then it's like, what do I do with it? And if we just kind of hold out there, yeah, eventually our nervous system kind of starts to get a little bit dysregulated, right? Because it's trying to kind of figure out what to do with all of this, and it doesn't quite know. And so we spit it out, or we, you know, truncate it in some way. We don't manage to actually bring it down and through and stabilize it within ourselves so that we can turn it into something effective, so that we can become, more open, but also more potent, you know, within it. And so that, you know, when I sort of mentioned in the earlier example, the example I started off with, like this idea of like, right. And then we turn to someone, we're like, what do I do with all this? And they're like, oh, just breathe, just be calm. You know, in a lot of the wellness world right now, there's a lot of this rhetoric of just expand, but also stay calm, whatever happens. And creatures, you know, if we're under threat, we need to not be calm, actually. Sometimes not being calm is actually the appropriate response. So woven through grounding the charge, it will not only be about what to do with your expansive, your new visions, or your heightened sensitivity, or how to navigate kind of this challenging world, but it'll also be a bit of like conversation around nervous system and how the nervous system works, so that you have access to the full range of your human experience, to the full range of your expression. And in this way, you can kind of start to stabilize your dreams and your visions, like through you in some way, so that then you become the instrument, you become the vessel through which spirit, through which love, through which the universe, through which the holy, whatever you want to call it, you know, can manage to sort of come down and through and act in this earth in some kind of way. And that's really a big part of what this, you know, human spirit experience that we're all incarnated into seems to be about. So let me know if you have any questions. But yeah, if you can make it live on March 21st, 2026, would love to see you there if this speaks to you. If you can't make it live, you'll still get access to the recording. If you're seeing this video after the fact, you should still go to oraclefest.com/grounding-the-charge. And I'll have the link below. But yeah, head there and you can get access to the recording. And I think there's going to be a workbook afterwards and everything. It's going to be very experiential. So not a whole lot of theory. The theory will be woven in with the practices, but it's going to be really about helping you actually leave feeling, more centered and stable within yourself, so that you can move whichever direction you need to move, whether it's expanding, whether it's sort of holding inward a bit more, or holding something tenderly, whether it's moving towards activation and charge, or whether it's towards moving towards less charge and more rest and more stillness, you know, but whatever it is that you need to move in, whatever direction would serve, your evolution and the highest good for all, that you'll have kind of a sense of where you are in that moment and what to do with that. So would love to see you live if you can make it. Would love to have you check out the recording if you can't make it live. And like I said, let me know if you have any questions.